Hey, welcome, friends. Ah, so here we are on YouTube, real time, and I'm just going to invite you to settle in. This class is an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm just going to invite you to stay for the whole class. Kind of two things like being aware when we're virtual that you can, get up and leave the room at any moment in a way that you probably wouldn't if you were in a real classroom. So it is good, I think, to kind of stretch your imagination, like giving yourself fully, just like you were attending a class. So we'll start seated. We're going to just take a couple deeper breaths. If you're practicing in your own home, in this way, when it is virtual like this, it's like your home is your sacred space. And this is good. And we turn our home into our retreat space, closing your eyes, letting your awareness move now inward, and starting to look internally, noticing just what's going on, how you're feeling today. Letting the breath deepen, so you're feeling into the belly, even a sense of your spine, that lifting up through your spine. When your head is really balanced right on top, that really can lead to a relaxation, kind of more effortless, when your head is right on top. How your neck can relax. Eyes relax, your face can relax. Ah, just that beginning level of putting everything aside and really giving yourself this time. We're just starting by stopping and even seeing like this is hard to stop. Really put everything down. So, what yoga can do is give the mind real focus, a real focused intention. So we're actually going to let go of seated pose right away here and just move on to all fours. So when we're on all fours, just feeling this connection, hands, shins pressing down. And we're going to move right into a little cat and cow. So cat pose where you're lifting your navel up, you drop your head. And then as you move to your cow, the arms stay straight, but you're letting kind of your spine drop into your body. And just notice that. Now we're going to bring in the breath, where as you exhale, you move to your cat pose. And then as you inhale, you move to cow, where this really is just this natural convex, concave shape of the spine. And as you're moving and you're breathing through your nose, for most people, the spine doesn't do this so thoroughly, really moving back and forth. So it's just good, so good to stay with this. Noticing how this feels. So we don't have just a superficial awareness of the body where we get really caught up in all the judgment. Yeah, we're really interested in like that as you're doing this movement, that it's just so good. And it really works at bringing a full focus into the present and an uprooting of all sorts of tension. Deep inhale through your nose. Just feel that movement of breath. It's cleansing, so naturally purifying. Next time you go to cat pose, you're rounding your back. You're just going to press your hips back towards your heels. Just into the child pose. Really deep action for the hips and the knees, shoulders opening up. And as you're going to lift back up, you're actually going to downward facing dog. So we're going to actually create gradually in a sun salutation. We're just going to let it be a little organic. So we have downward facing dog. We're starting to wake up. And then the feet move back. You move just a little bit into that plank pose, like lengthening out. And then your knees touch down. You go back to child pose. And just breathe, really giving the body some time to do this now. It's like a fluid movement. Moving to downward facing dog. Lift up, straighten your arms, straighten your legs. Feel this really free breath just sweeping through the body. Plank pose. Lengthening up. Knees touching down, child pose. Full knees. Coming up, moving right to downward facing dog. Lengthen, reach your heels down, but lift your hips way up. And moving to plank pose. Now, this time in plank pose, your knees lightly touch down, but then you lower down onto your belly. And on your belly, your legs go back, way back. Starting with that little baby cobra pose, lift your head up. Now, be aware. So when we practice mindfully, you're also aware of your toes, your hands. You start to be naturally aware of your whole body as you move into this. Now, lower out of your cobra pose, ground your pubic bone, and then lift again into cobra. But as you do this repeatedly, close your eyes and notice how you can choose to do this in a pretty quiet way. So what happens when we listen to the body is that, the body doesn't use words. That wordiness is really the mind that loves to overthink everything. So when we listen to the body, maybe that chatter of the mind is in the background. But you're noticing all the sensations as you do this simple movement. feel what it feels like to do this wholeheartedly, with the whole body. Awareness, consciousness filling the whole body. It's often a really radical experience because we're so used to just thinking about the body. So now we're mindfulness filling the body. Go ahead and move now back to down dog. So lifting up. Lengthening the spine. So there's effort, doing this pose. As the arms straighten, get nice and wide across your chest. Now you're going to take your hands are actually going to walk back towards your feet. You can just do this in any way, like walking back. You might bend your knees. And then once you're back, you have your weight on your legs, just straighten your legs out. And then come all the way up to standing. Just reach the arms way up. Way up, way up. Lift up, like you even lift your kneecaps a little bit here. And then you're just going to drop your right arm down and take a nice big stretch through your left side. And then just switch sides. Grounding your feet so you stay really connected to the earth. And as you're doing that, it's like we just keep remembering it's possible to do this with fewer words. There's not a lot to figure out here. So we let go of that tendency to get caught up in thinking. So now we're breathing and feeling, getting into all of the sensations. It's just like an explosion of sensations when you're doing a simple action like this, back and forth. If it helps to, when you're breathing, take that nice big inhale, you could release with like a little sigh, just to feel. You can even sigh with your mouth closed. It's a little vibration of movement around your throat. So we're doing this so that the spine gets a little time with that lateral movement, side to side. It really opens the side of your body, even like almost like I think of it as around the heart. You have all these like doors and windows. Like now we're opening like the side windows of the heart to the chest. And then as you let this go, as the arms come down, you move to your forward bend. And again, you're going to walk your hands forward. So it's a slightly different sun salutation, just walking forward and then right into downward facing dog. Maybe sensing around the chest, around the heart, like the back door of the heart opening, the front door opening, and the side windows. Now walk the hands forward a little bit more as you move to your plank. Breathe, feel kind of playful plank positioning, but the work of that, the ab muscles, abdominal muscles working. Now in your own way, but really practice wholeheartedly when you lower down onto your belly. The shoulders stay back now as you reach your legs back. Even open the soles of your feet here so they're not all crunched up. And you could do that by spreading your toes. And then reach the chest forward, you lift your cobra. You actually relax around your forehead and your eyebrows. as you're lifting your collarbones. So in a way, I always notice how your collarbones have that same, almost that same shape as your eyebrows. You know, how they are very horizontal to the floor, but you really can widen and lift and open around your collarbones, not so much around your eyebrows. You know, the eyebrows are relaxed. Now lower down, like halfway down, so you can feel kind of a relaxed effort around your cobra pose. And then lengthen and lift the legs. And that might really give some space around your feet. Reach your arms way back, drawing your shoulder blades together. And just breathe here. Do this in a almost relaxed way through your neck. But there's work to straighten your legs, straighten your arms. And then moving back to down dog. So the hands press into the mat, the toes tuck under, and you lift up. Feel your hands, feel your wrists. Feel the soles of the feet. Feel your ankles here. Those little joints of your wrists and your ankles really work and strengthen here. And then again, now you might move almost a little towards plank, like there's less flexion in your shoulders. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. So that this is very reasonable for your shoulders, for your knees, for your hips as you're walking back. Fold into your full forward bend. Straighten your legs. And then come up. Push into your feet. Come all the way up. Reach your arms up. Now, as your arms come down, so we did our lateral stretch, right? By just bringing one arm up. Let's do one each side. So I just left arm up and then switch. Bring right arm up. So like, yep, there's that side movement. And then just bring your arms down. Okay, so one of my favorite ways now to start to move into a twist is to actually use use a wall or a chair or an object and use a little padding. So I'm going to grab a blanket. Now, if you don't have a blanket or some pillow around, you could use your mat. But I'm just going to bring this close to the wall for a lot of support. And this way we can really enjoy our twisting experience as we start to warm up into it. So all I'm going to do is come down onto my knees. Okay. So when I'm on my knees, my right hand is able to touch the wall, or, you know, like I said, a chair or some object, just for a little support here. Now I'm going to take right foot, step the right foot forward. Okay. So, and as I'm here, I'm not moving into a lunge. So I'm not dropping my back thigh. In fact, I actually, the opposite. I have my weight back on my left leg. Very little weight on the right foot. Okay. So I'm really upright. I'm almost balancing on that left leg. Lift your navel up so you're really tall. Shoulders are relaxed down. And then just stay here. Your lower body does not move at all. Now your shoulders are going to start to rotate. So you're starting to rotate to your right. This is one of my favorite physical positions to twist. Take your left hand across, on your right thigh and explore this now, this twisting, where you're rotating. Maybe you're looking at the wall. Lift straight up through the crown of your head. Twist. But making sure as your shoulders are rotating, you're not opening your right hip. So your right hip kind of floats forward, not opening back. Get a sense of that now as you untwist a little bit. So just slightly, and then move back into this twist. Just we're kind of waking up this action, releasing the twist a little bit, and then open up into it. Breathe, lift straight up through your spine. Now, if you want to, stay really grounded down here and just reach that right arm back so it's not touching anything. And you might feel like, ooh, it might get a little tippy or wobbly here. So you have to ground down and try not to tip over. So we're using deep strength here. And then letting go of this. Untwist. Notice how that felt, that nice deep twist in your spine. And then go ahead and switch. So both knees are down, and I'm just going to twirl around here. And light touch with left fingers on the wall. Left foot comes forward, and you're really lifting straight up here. So this, you're aware of your lower back and that you're not sinking into your right hip. You're not sinking, compressing your lower back. You're really lifting straight up. So much that the shoulders relax down. And then there's that little twisting. You're rotating. Reach your right hand across, light touch on the left thigh. And then just keep lifting straight up and twisting. Lengthening, lifting up, twisting. Now I can feel actually my left hip is starting to open. So I'm going to really reach that left hip forward. So it's just my left shoulder opening. And that creates that deeper twist. And maybe play with this. Release the twist a little bit. And then moving back into it. So you really learn by feeling like, yes, this is my spine twisting. Not just my hips rotating, creating some illusion that I'm twisting. So feeling that, letting go of the twist, twisting. And then if you're ready, if you want to play with this, stay in the twist and then just reach that left arm back. Balance. Breathe. Yeah, try not to grip up or clench. Breathe. Open. And then letting go of this twist. Bringing that left knee down. And then you're going to rotate again, okay? Now this time, we're just going to do a slightly different approach if this works for your prop, like what you're using here, which is to get closer. So I'm just moving my knees. I'm even going to move my blanket a little closer to the wall. So I'm really quite close to the wall here. Like my right shoulder is only a few inches away from the wall. And then my right foot comes forward. So of course, even my foot is closer to the wall. Lifting up. It's like I'm lifting out of my left hip. And then now as I rotate, so now I'm going to twist again. And I'm closer. So I can just reach my right hand way back, but still have contact with the wall. So it can just help. So you're not tipping, and you can then enjoy that nice deep twist. Lift your collarbones, even lift your navel up here. So there's that lifting. Do not sink your chest as you're twisting. Sensing even that right knee, kind of reaching forward, not letting that right hip release back. So breathe, enjoy. And now I just have my fingertips, right fingertips on the wall. Feel your neck, even your throat is aligned here. Give the body some big, deep breaths to open into the twist. And you might briefly let go of the wall and balance here as you reach back. Try not to crank your head. And then release the twist. So, other side. I have both knees down. It's going to rotate here. So when we get a little relaxed, like this is when you might start to really overarch your lower back. So when you're bending your knees like this, those psoas muscles might feel really tight here. So we lift the front hip bones. Now, when left foot steps forward, keeping yourself pretty close to your wall, and then starting that twist, lift the chest now. Feel the ribs rotate, walking your fingertips back. But do not let that left hip release back. So little by little, exploring this. Notice your attitude and, how when we do yoga, so by definition, yoga really is this harmony that is developing between the thinking mind and the body. So how are you talking to yourself as you're doing this? Breathe, feel this nice deep twist. Lift the breastbone, the collarbones. Don't sink. If you want to, so grounding, preparing so that when you reach back through that left arm, stable. And untwist. Letting go, both knees down. Good. And then as we let this go, we can just move. If you have any props or anything, you can move them out of the way. You're going to move back to your mat. And why don't we come to standing? And you're just going to move towards the front of the mat. Taking ourselves through a nice big sequence of sun salutation. So come up towards the front of the mat. I think for this sequence, we're not going to use any props. Palms together in front of the heart, grounding both feet now, lifting up. Even the legs are engaged, and you know that, you feel that effort, just a balanced effort. Arms now coming up. Breathe, take a little squat, sitting down, bend your knees, and start to allow, like chair pose, like you're sitting down a little bit here. Strong. Sides of the body nice and long. Really good for your lower back to get that lifting up. Now, as you reach your arms out to the side, you can just lengthen out like you're laying on your thighs. Noticing that stretch through the lower back. I mean, it's such a different stretch because there's no compression in your lower back. And get that real feeling, like reaching your chest out over your thighs. Now, bending your knees, let your fingertips touch down. You'll just step your left foot way back. And I do, since we just did that nice big twist at the wall, let's take a nice big twist here. So right hand on your right thigh, twisting and opening. Reach your right arm up. As you let that go, right hand comes down, and we're going to twist the other way, but it turns us into a triangle pose. Now, let left foot drop down, both legs straighten. So this is really going to involve balancing. Keep looking at your right foot. Take your right hand on the right shin and just kind of lift up and lengthen here. Balance. As you're lengthening, open to the left. So grounding, feet, lengthen your spine, strong legs. Now remember to point your tailbone to the left. Reach that top arm up and create space by grounding, opening in your own way. That bottom right hand, if it needs to lift higher up on your leg, do that. Strong pose. Good. As that top arm comes down, you're going to move back to downward facing dog. Find the position of your hands, your feet. Breathing. Briefly lift your heels straight up and then lower them down. Lift them up, lower them down, and then moving to your plank pose, possibly close your eyes. Just feeling, whole body doing this. It's like your whole underbody is being lifted up. Lift your shins, thighs, navel, breastbone. And then keeping that lift like that, like there's air underneath you, lifting you up as you lower down. Reaching the legs back. Breathing, you start to open your cobra. Remember, collarbones lift. Eyebrows don't have to. Really interested in all of this space inside the body. Free of tension, free of clenching. Breathe into your upper chest. Lower partway down. Lengthen, lift your legs. Reach your arms back. You really can choose. There's such thing. This is locust pose. There's like low locust pose. There's a moderate kind of lifted, and then you could really lift up like to your max. So just choose wisely what you're doing today. Strong wrists and ankles. Now, transition to down dog. Breathe, feel that pushing down the light, lifting up. Your hands actually push your hips way back. Good. Now, in your own way, your hands walk back to your feet. Doing this, like explore how to do this. Really strong Uttanasana, you're in your forward bend. And come up, push into your feet, reaching up. Soles of the feet are open, ankles are strong. And just go side to side here. Drop the right arm. Switching, left arm down. Breathe. Switching again. Throat is relaxed. Switching. And arms down. Now take a step forward with your right foot. Balance in your tree pose. Explore. We're kind of abiding by what is really showing up today. We'll study, stable, feel, learn how to stay embodied and feel the body, all the sensations. Even, wherever your arms are, you could bring your arms down, but get taller. Taller. And then switch, stepping the left foot forward, balance on your left leg. In a way, there's even a feeling of being patient. Like little by little, you explore, letting the pose really develop in its own pace. Every time we practice, it's going to be a little different. Arms coming down, both feet down. Just pause, both feet down. And then both arms come up. And you move into a little squat. You're sitting. Feel. Really, mindfulness reveals that every moment that we're aware of the body, that it's like a fresh experience. We can't even compare this to the last time we did this pose. So as you take your arms way out to the side, you really lengthen, like you're bringing your navel to your thighs. Notice how that's going to lengthen your lower back. Holding lots of space. Lower back. As you bring your hands down, the knees are bent. So you're going to keep your left foot forward. Your right foot will step way back. So you're in a big lunge position here. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Keep your left hand on the floor and just start to explore that twisting, opening to the left. So this is like, feel your whole rib cage rotating. Left shoulder opening, keep back leg straight. And just reach up, open across your chest. Breathe, feel whole body. As you let go, that top left hand comes down. We're going to move to Trikonasana, triangle pose. So the right foot drops down. Feel both feet as both legs start to straighten now. So that left hand, where is it going to go? So that you can straighten both legs and lengthen your spine. Lengthening. Opening here, gradually open to the right. Stay balanced, so that deep strength in the legs can help. Try not to overarch your lower back. Navel is in. And remember how your tailbone is like pointing to the right. Reach that top arm up. Open, strong. Sense your spine from tailbone all the way up, crown of the head. Top arm is going to come down. As you look down, you're moving back to downward facing dog. Slowly moving through plank pose and onto your belly in your own way. Legs go back. Cobra, lifting collarbones. Now you definitely have a little lift of your chin. In your own way, legs lift, arms reach back. Breath can move, whole body breathing. And there's that really light transition back to down dog because the whole body present. So knees are going to touch down. And we're going to just sit back for a moment because we're going to take the mat. I'm just going to use the mat because I'm pretty sure you're all having a mat for a yoga prop. And we're going to use the mat as a little extra cushion. So I'm going to just take a little fold of the mat, okay? So when I fold back here, then I have these layers. So again, I'm going to bring my knees on that fold. So now as I come up, I have that little extra cushion on my knees. And from here, this time we are going to step the right foot forward. And instead of upright, we are going to move into a little bit of a lunge position here, okay? So that means I'm going to really bend my right knee and my back left thigh is dropping down. So I'm upright here at first, and then I'm just going to let the fingers lightly touch the floor. Now we want to be aware of, we're going to do like a little extra action for that back leg. So I first want to get my left kneecap really comfortable so that left toes tuck under, those back toes tuck under, and then I'm actually going to lift that back foot, okay? And then touch it down again. So you just do that action where you can feel that effort of lifting your foot, place it back down. Lift it up, place it down. I know it's like can be a lot of sensation. And then walk both hands to the left. Now bend that back knee, and if it makes sense, take your left hand back and grab your foot. And draw that foot in towards your butt. You can balance here. You could even bring right hand up to your right knee. I have right forearm by my right knee, that variation also. Or touch your right fingers down, whatever makes sense. Slowly letting go that back foot, left foot down. And then we're just going to switch sides. So there are, there's a few different stages of this, right? And each one, like grabbing the foot, if that just feels like it's not connecting, I mean, you don't do it then, right? So now left foot stepping forward. And we actually take that, what I call the low lunge. So the right thigh really drops down here. Give a moment. And then even just start that initial action. The back toes tuck under. You could lift your right knee and place it back down so that you can just sense it's comfortably placed. Lift the right foot, drop it back down. It's like you're lifting your toes and bringing them back down. Notice how that feels. And I know, this is like moving into a little intensity here. So that when you lift your right foot, I'm going to bring both hands over to the right, lifting that right foot, and then reaching back and grabbing the foot and drawing it in. And if it makes more sense, you could lift up, like left forearm, right above left knee. Breathing here. This sensation, it really is because you're getting deep into muscles that usually don't get stretched. The quad muscles. Thigh muscles. As you let it go, we'll just take that left knee back. So we are going to unfold the mat. So you're just going to let the mat go back out. And then again, we're going to go onto the belly. So we just deeply, we're bending the knees, stretching the quads, and it's a really good prep for a pose like Dhanurasana bow pose. And this one too, we're just gonna do little steps at a time. So move onto your belly, reach your legs back. And you could just lift that little cobra pose, lifting up here. Lengthen and lift both legs. And then bend your knees. And just point yours, like the soles of the feet pointing up to the ceiling. So in order to do that, you're contracting your hamstring muscles. And then lift a little higher to your cobra. And then reach your arms back and possibly grab your feet. And that may or may not happen, that connection. So this Dhanurasana, you lift your thighs up. Now here's a little variation, more like a frog pose, is draw your feet in towards your butt. So that's a little bit more of like that deep knee flexion. But then Dhanurasana is where we push the feet into the hands. It's a little different where you lift your chest, you're lifting your thighs up, and you're pushing your feet back. Opening your chest. This is why it's called bow pose. Butt muscles are contracting, lifting the thighs. And then you just slowly release. Letting go. So legs extend. And then just take your hands forward. Stack your hands, take your forehead on your hands. Breathing here. Spine kind of resting. As you lift your head, your hands are going to slide back and you're going to lift just right up onto all fours. Adjust your hands and your feet. And then just kind of small, just start to move to a little cat and cow movement. Really, just feeling your spine moving. After the work we just did, is getting in that nice fluid movement of the spine. And then sitting, as you sit, the legs are going to go wide apart, okay? So we'll just move into a really nice warm action here, just that little leg rub. So hands on your thigh, kind of rubbing the thigh, and this hands just move down the legs. Really nice, big rubbing. Press your fingers in, just getting that nice, to really notice, like, how do the legs feel after doing the work they did? We're just always reflecting on this, how we're relating to our body. So switch legs. It's that nice connection, leg rub. gradually reaching down towards your feet. So this is like, a nice little stretch, right? As you're reaching down. And then we do this a little back and forth. So it really does turn into this stretch, like reach down, fold over that, either leg, and then come up. And there's a little twist, right? As you're facing the other leg, and you just reach and extend out over that leg. I'm not so concerned about what your arms are doing. It's very organic stretch. And coming up. We notice the difference, like when you just cross your legs into a cross-legged position. Sit up tall and then folding forward. Now this is little at a time. Just extend out over your legs, breathing, feeling your spine, feel your hips. As you come up here, you're just going to cross the legs the other way. Crossing. Make sure that you're not pushing your spine back, okay? So draw your spine in and then lengthen forward out over your legs. Coming up. Now, as you come up, we're going to recline and we're going to move into the final pose of our knee down twist. Okay. So in this pose, there's a few different steps. So maybe what I'm going to do is take just this really brief little demo here of how we're doing this, because there's just alignment to this pose. So when you recline, you keep your knees bent and your arms are out to the side. Now, just to demo, I'm going to take my hips, like my butt moves way over to the left. And I'm going to extend my bottom, my right leg is in the middle now. So that when I do my knee down twist, I bring my left foot to my right thigh. And as I twist, as I drop that knee down, I just want to make sure that my whatever is touching the floor, the side of my right side of my body is in kind of a straight line in the middle of my mat. As I'm twisting, my knee is going to drop and then my left shoulder is going to drop. Okay, so that's our alignment. So let's start over. Like even if you did this with me, maybe start over. So the starting position is with arms out to the side, knees are bent, feet on the floor, and then really feeling that movement of just your hips, like just your butt moves over to the left. And so that when you straighten your bottom right leg, that you really feel that right leg is in the center, your right hip is in the center. And as you bring your left foot onto your right thigh, you start to drop that left knee over to the right. Now here, you might do that final, what I call the final little scooching over. is that bottom right hip. You really want it in the center and just a feeling like you're rolling onto that outer right hip. And then even a sense like your hips are stacking as you move into the twist, as you're lifting that left hip up. Now, don't be surprised if left shoulder starts to lift here. Okay, so we give that a little time. We're dropping the left knee down. We're letting that left shoulder melt down. Possibly adjust your shoulders. So you could just be looking up to the ceiling and breathing here. Lengthen the spine. Breathe into your chest. Twist. Now there's like effort here of this lengthening, breathing, creating space rather than collapsing. Twist. Allow this twist. Keep breathing into your whole body here. Feeling this, this twist. This takes a while for the body to kind of melt into this. So even coming out of this is just gradual, little by little untwisting. The body has to gradually shift and move back to that starting position where the arms are out to the side as you lay on your back, your knees are bent, feet on the mat. So as we do the other side, you're just moving your butt over to the right, way over, and that bottom left leg is lengthening. So it's so good, just breathing, feeling all of this. Left hip in the center, and then that right foot comes up onto left thigh. And feel the length of the spine as you start to drop that right knee. Breathe and really intentionally giving the body time. Right knee is dropping and right shoulder is dropping. This creates the twist. Lengthen, allow this. Even feel as you breathe through your nose that there's that sense the breath can flow into the whole body. Even aware of what your head is doing, if you need to reposition that bottom leg, that left hip at all. Each breath, body softens, allowing this twist. Gradually now, as you're untwisting, you're breathing, feeling. Ah, little at a time. All right, now as you move everything back to center here, just briefly take both knees into the chest. You might grab your knees, your shins, gently draw the legs in. You can just kind of rock back and forth, side to side here. Ah. Doing any final little movement that the body wants to do. And then preparing for Shavasana. So in Shavasana, you can always start with half Shavasana. You might just take your feet onto the floor. Feel your back relaxing. If the body starts to cool down, you feeling chilly at all, you could put layers on or cover up with a blanket or something, and just moving into your full Shavasana where you're laying on the floor. Taking the arms just into a position, arms just dropping down. So moving into stillness. If it helps, take a few deeper breaths. When you breathe in, it's actually bringing in energy and alertness, that feeling of filling the body with breath. And as you exhale, there's that sinking and letting go. So when we practice this pose, it's good to know what you're practicing. So first, we're practicing non-distraction. We're letting go the past. We're letting go of the future. We're right here. And this is, again, where the body doing yoga can really help. Be aware of your body. Feel your forehead. Really interested in, is there any tension in my body I could let go of? Could soften the forehead. Soften the space around your eyes, your whole skull. Back of the neck. If you can just feel like back of your neck is really soft, kind of mushy as you drop your head. What does it feel like to bring awareness inward, sensing your throat, maybe feeling your back body where you're laying, upper chest, shoulder blades, and aware of your lower back. It's a good pose for the lower back to really soften. With awareness at the lower back, this is why you might bend your knees. Sometimes with the knees bent, really can feel that releasing down of the lower back. And then if the legs lengthen, that's where we could completely release the weight of the legs. I'm letting go, releasing my legs. And aware now of the whole body letting go. And we do that again, the whole body. It is, it's natural, it's little at a time. Little bit, letting go, letting go. So even small areas like aware of your lips. It's kind of fascinating. Like, wow, my lips are usually not this free of tension, really soft. So good to just circle back, feel space around your eyes, space around your brain. As you start to let go of Shavasana, it's yet another pose that you could really notice. Like every time you practice it, it's different. So all of the poses just have this, it's called impermanence, that the body, mind are always changing. So as you come up, you could let go of Shavasana. And as you come up to seated, that the effects of our work, like, really has an effect on how we feel now, maybe the rest of the day. So as you take palms together in front of the heart, you get that lift of the heart, the softening of the throat, relaxed eyes. And like we can just do this anytime. And we'll close with the sound of Om. We'll take a deep inhale. Hmm. Thank you so much for doing this work and practicing together. Um, so I guess one thing I will put out there is that the classes that I offer that are through Common Ground, and then the classes that I just offer on Zoom, they're it seems like they're ever changing, like little bit tweaking what my schedule is. Like, for example, I'm starting a Wednesday noon class that's in person at Common Ground, and it's only in person. It's not going to be broadcast online. And if you want those updates of what's new, what's changing in my schedule, you can always go to my website at boleryoga.com. And you could also request to be on my weekly email list. So I just send out all of those little changes and updates um, every week. You'll get a little refresher reminder email of what's coming up. And yeah, part of me I can feel getting a little like, oh my gosh, I'm constantly making changes. But boy, what a thing to embrace. This is really how it is now. And I'm yeah, just trying to do things that really work for people. And, so again, I'm just going to put this in the little chat over here of my website, which I think it's even listed below in the details. But there it is. Thanks for the comments. It's always nice to see. There's people out there. Oh my gosh. We did a lot of twisting today. That last recline twist, I feel like I haven't done that in a while. So, good to see everyone. Um, so I'm going to wish you a wonderful ongoing practice. And yeah, hope to see you soon.